right, it's 2 a.m. Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve. Rutgers survives Matt Allocco and Notre Dame to get a much-needed victory, 85-84, in the first game of the Players Era Festival in Vegas for Feast Week. It was on TBS. It was a wild game. Rutgers was really struggled in the beginning of this game, could not get any flow offensively. Dylan Harper, 2 early fouls. I thought a great move by Peichel. Was about 10 minutes to go in the first half. He put Dylan back in the game with 2 fouls. Dylan did a tremendous job of staying out of foul trouble, picked up only 1 other foul the rest of the game. This game went into overtime, and Dylan just put on one of the greatest performances of a Rutgers player ever, one of the best freshman performances, in a long time, best of the year so far. 36 points, 12 of 22 from the floor for Dylan Harper, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, just 1 turnover in 39 minutes. A tour de force. It was 2 of 6 from 3, 10 of 14 from the line. Really came through from the line for the most part down the stretch and just took over the game. Really, Notre Dame had very little answer for him when he got downhill. His ability to get downhill, but body control, avoid the charge, draw contact, and just his ability to just stay under control, his court awareness, his situational awareness. He's able to see over the defense. So he had kick out assists. He was able to just find guys that weren't near him open for shots. He did it all on the offensive end in this game. Defensively, still some work for him, but he was aggressive at times, and he's learning to use his size a bit. But overall, Dylan Harper with an epic performance for Rutgers when they needed it. He put Rutgers on his back, and he came through in a big way. Notre Dame losing their best player, Markus Burton, early on in this game. Agbole fell on his knee. So Rutgers had to win this game. I mean, when their best player's out, Matt Allocco did everything to keep the Irish in it, hit 3 consecutive threes when Rutgers was up as much as 6 in that overtime, icing the game from the line, and Allocco just would not allow it, and then finally missed at the buzzer. Thank goodness. He's an unbelievable player. I mean, Rutgers went after him for a reason. Former Princeton Tiger with Zach Martini. Rutgers really wanted Matt Allocco. He ended up at Notre Dame, and he almost buried Rutgers, and that would have been just a brutal loss for this team. This team just needed to break through. They needed a break, and they got some big supporting cast performances in this game from Jordan Derkack, from Jeremiah Williams, and from Tyson Acuff. Peichel really rode that rotation, the 3 of them with Harper and Bailey, down the stretch of regulation and in overtime. And they all came through. A big difference in the game was things shifted when Jeremiah Williams really started to shut down Micah Shrewsbury's son, who really had a huge first half. He, let's see, what did he have second half? Shrewsbury, just 2 of 8 from the floor, 4 points, 0 of 3 from 3. Great adjustment by Peichel to get J-Will on him. And it really changed the complexion of the game because he was really stepping up for Burton being out. Got Notre Dame that early. They were up 9 points in the first half. And Rutgers was in a little bit of danger zone. And then they really got back into it. But I thought that was a huge part of this game. And then J-Will, listen, he had 2 threes, 2 of 5 from 3. That's big for him. 4 of 8 from the floor. Had 6 rebounds. Felt like more. I mean, every big defensive rebound in the second half felt like J-Will got it. He had did have some turnovers, struggled, got beat off the ball a little bit, but his defense overall was really, really good. He had a block and a steal as well. 30 minutes for him, plus 5. I've talked about the last few days going into the season. I mean, J-Will is the 3rd guy in this team, and Rutgers needs him to be the 3rd guy. And with his shoulder injury, he has not been that guy. He was tonight. He really stepped up. And if Rutgers can get this kind of performance from him, he's a captain. He brings it defensively, but offensively, he was, he did enough to really balance things out. It was a huge performance from J-Will. So happy to see it. from that guy. He just cares so much, and he means so much to this team. And then Derkack, you got to hand it to him. Really stepped up. 16 points from him. Listen, he's not going to be a perfect offensive player. He's going to miss some open shots. He missed a couple layups. He had missed a layup with Rutgers tied late in the game. Thought it might come back to bite him as Notre Dame hit 2 threes in a row after that. And then Rutgers responded with their own 9-0 run. But overall, Derkack, 16 points, 5 of 12 from the floor, 2 of 5 from 3, 4 of 7 from the line, 6 rebounds, an assist, a block, 2 steals in 34 minutes, plus 5 for him. He's just such a tough player. He really brought it on the defensive end. And offensively, there were a couple threes he passed up and just drove to the lane, got dunks out of it, got fouled. He's a smart basketball player, high IQ, and he got a lot of run tonight, and he rewarded Pico with that. Then also, Acuff. Acuff played a season-high 25 minutes. How many were in the second half? It was a lot. He got 15 second-half OT minutes. Did not score a ton in this game. Only had, 2 points in the second half. But OT, he had 2 huge free throws for this team that really, were the difference. He had to make those. And overall, he was real solid. 7 points, 2 of 5 from the floor, 1 of 3 from 3, 2 of 2 from the line. But he had 7 rebounds, had an assist, had a steal, had some pretty good on-ball defense at the top of the key for a while there. Guarded Allocco at times and just was solid. He's a veteran guy. Pico felt comfortable with him out there. Rutgers needs Tyson Acuff. They need him to be a player for this team. And I have to give – Pico has tinkered with the rotation a lot, and I haven't loved all of it, but you have to give him credit sticking with Acuff, and Acuff came through for him tonight, and he's starting to round into form. If you get Acuff and J-Will rounding into form, and they can be solid contributors for this team, third and fourth scorers, I thought, coming into the year, that's going to be a huge plus for this team. It's going to help this team get some cohesion going and really get into rhythm here. Ace Bailey really struggled tonight getting into the flow of the offense. He started 1 of 6. He finished 4 of 12. Too much standing around, too much kind of just waiting for the ball and then kind of just trying to make something happen. Credit to him. He made some big shots. The last minute of regulation, it was huge. Dylan fed him, and he kind of just created some space for himself on a step out, hit a jumper, and then got a big defensive rebound. So that was good to see. But he's got to do more of it. He only had 4 rebounds in this game, did have 4 fouls, battled with that, had 2 steals and an assist, 36 minutes. So credit to him for staying in the game and not fouling out, plus 3 overall, but 10 points for him. But just, he's got to find more ways to impact the game when his shot's not falling, and he's got to find ways to get his shot more into the flow of the offense. He went most of the first half without points. He got an offensive rebound, putback foul. That was big for him. But he made his only 3-point attempt, but he's just kind of on an island right now. And, Dylan can just create on his own and get downhill, and Ace is kind of standing around. So he's got to move more without the ball. They got to set more screening actions for him. He's got to be more of a screener. I'd like to see more of the, Dylan and Ace, Ace setting the table for Dylan and then rolling and getting some looks that way. So we'll see if they can work on that tomorrow against Alabama, or I guess today. It's already Wednesday. But listen, Rutgers wins the game with Ace Bailey not being a major factor. That's a plus. PJ Hayes got the start. I was happy about that. He only played 10 minutes, didn't even score, just took 2 threes, missed his only free throw. And did he play in the second half? I don't even think he did. He did not. And then Martini, got nothing from him either. He played 9 minutes in the second half. He played 19 overall, but had just 1 point. Didn't even take a shot from the floor. Didn't have a rebound. Did have 3 steals. But to get 0 production out of Martini and Hayes and limited production from Ace to get a win, even though Notre Dame was without Burton, is huge, especially coming off this loss to Kennesaw State. Rutgers had to have this game. He did not want to go 0 for 3 in Vegas. They get that off their back. In terms of other performances, that was, the bulk of it. Pico really rode that fivesome down the stretch. Dylan played 39, Ace 36. Derkack 34, J. Will 30, Acuff 25. Martini had 19 minutes. Somerville 16 minutes, 5 points, a board. He just defensively, he was not good. And it's prohibitive in terms of Peichel, credit Peichel. He kept him in the game, even though he was giving up some baskets back to back. But Somerville's defense has to get better. And overall, not much from anybody else. Like Bole didn't do too much in 7 minutes of action. J. Mike, not too much in 8 minutes of action. No points from him. So overall, the big difference in this game, Notre Dame doesn't turn the ball over. They had one of the lowest turnover rates in the country coming in. Rutgers turned them over 14 times, showed some pressure at times, full court at times, and turned those 14 turnovers into 20 points, which really, without that, Rutgers, would have lost this game. Had a 20-4 advantage in points off of turnovers, committed just 9. That was huge in this game. From the foul line, they were just 19 of 28, 68%, but credit to Rutgers, they were 9 of 12 in overtime. That was necessary. They were 8 of 24 from 3, 45% overall from the floor, 29 of 65. What were they in terms of at the rim? The Rutgers at the rim in this game was 13 of 20, so 65%. Not bad at all. Points per possession, 1.164. Did not have a lot of assists this game. There's a lot of ISO with Dylan taking Notre Dame off the bounce. And ball movement at time, it was not great. Not great at times. Dylan had some really good passes, but other than him, no one else had more than 1 assist. Just 9 assists on 29 field goals. That was probably the lowest assist rate of the season so far. Just in terms of some other notables, Notre Dame finished 44% from the floor, 42 from 3, 14 to 33 from 3. That kept them in it, obviously. Matt Allocco was fantastic. 8 of 17 from the floor, 6 of 9 from 3, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 24 points. Shrewsbury finished with 16, which is 6 of 20 from the floor, though. 3 of 13 from 3. Again, J. Will did a fantastic job on him in that second half. Tay Davis, 15 points, 5 of 10 from the floor, 6 rebounds from Notre Dame. Not a lot of production from Notre Dame overall. Chubahar, the big man, hit 3 threes. That was big for him. But overall, rebounding-wise, Rutgers was much better in that second half on the glass. They finished -6. Not great, but they had 13 offensive rebounds. Notre Dame had 14, but Notre Dame prospered on second chance points, 14 to 6 edge. There, bench points, Rutgers 29-23, points in paints 34-28. Rutgers, fast break points 7-0 Rutgers. So that was huge. But a huge confidence building win for this team. They needed it so bad, and it was gut wrenching. What a day it's been. I've had a hectic day, and we can all exhale because Rutgers had to have this game. I could barely keep my eyes open. Sorry for the visual. And this was the type of game that if Rutgers lost, you could see things start to snowball here. But they got the win. I talked about in the preview, Peichel needing to shorten the rotation. He surely did that. I wanted to see Hayes play more. He got the start, but didn't get much after. But Acuff, really, I thought Acuff, Derkack, and Jaywell, aside from the epic performance of Dylan Harper, that was the key. You have to get no matter how great Dylan Harper is, and he's making an argument for the best freshman in the Big Ten, aside from Cooper Flagg, best freshman in the country, one of the best guards in the country. You're not going to win on him alone. And on a night that Ace was off, other guys stepped up, and that was huge to see. And this was a monster win for Rutgers. Notre Dame, I think, will ultimately be fine in the ACC. Some people think they'll challenge for an NCAA tournament spot. We'll see. In terms of KenPom, Notre Dame is 69th. Rutgers is 78th after this game. They were 78th coming in. But so a solid win. This will be probably a Q2 neutral court win for Rutgers. Notre Dame now plays Houston late night tomorrow, late night Thursday, like 12:30 a.m. on Thanksgiving. Rutgers will now play Alabama, who beat Houston in a great game, another overtime game. Beat them on earlier, right before 85-80 in overtime. It was quite the performance. Mark Sears was unbelievable. He's smaller. He's 6'1". It's going to be interesting to see how Rutgers defends him. But he was lights out, 24 points for him, 12-14 from the line, 4 of 8 from 3. Didn't miss all his twos. Grant Nelson is phenomenal. He had 13 points, 10 rebounds, 2 steals. Cliff, old friend Cliff, just had 4 points and 3 rebounds in 17 minutes. But they have a really good freshman in LeBaron Fillon. And Darian Reed is really good inside. He's a freshman as well. Eden Holloway, 6'1" sophomore. Alabama, it's funny. They have some smaller guards. They do have some good size, but they have smaller guards as well. But they played really well against Houston to come back and win that overtime game. So Rutgers getting a few less extra hours of rest compared to Alabama. Not sure how much it's going to make a difference. It's going to be a tall task. But you know what? They can go out there and play carefree. I thought the defense was much better tonight. Yes, they gave up 84 points in overtime. But in terms of, stops they were getting, Rutgers was dialed in more. They were more intense. They were helping better. In terms of points per possession, Notre Dame finished 1.135. So good offensive game for them. They were 10 of 16 at the rim. Overall, I just wanted to check something for Rutgers. Let's see, 20 and 24, 44. So 44 of their 65 shots were at the rim or behind the arc, about 2/3 there. But this was just a much needed win for Rutgers. Could not go 0 for Vegas. And after what happened Sunday night, it was good to see this team respond. Even though they came out slow, even though they struggled to kind of get into the flow of things, I thought defensively they looked pretty locked in from the get-go. Closing out in threes has still been an issue for sure. There's just certain personnel groupings that defense is really struggling. But it was very telling to see that rotation that Pikiell rode things out with down the stretch, giving Acuff a lot of run, and then Derkack and Jay Will just really stepping up on both ends of the floor. Again, Ace had an off night, but he made some big plays down the stretch. Dylan was just unbelievable. Listen, an encouraging win. This team obviously has a long way to go. They are nowhere near a finished product, but they made some progress tonight. I think Pikiell shortening the rotation is going to help this team. You have to figure out a way to get Ace Bailey more involved, get him better looks, and he's got to, be more active. He's got to be more active without the ball, whether that's, running, moving without the ball, setting screens, attack the offensive glass. He can't just be, he's used to just getting the ball and being able to go one-on-one and beat guys. That's not college basketball. He's got to be able to create in multiple ways. He can. He's completely capable. But it was very interesting, too, with Pikiell going down the stretch where Ace was basically the 5. And then you had Acuff, Derkack, Harper, and Jay Will in there. So that was an interesting grouping. It was basically 4 guards and Ace at the 5. So that certainly was something we haven't seen much of this year. I don't know even at all if we had, but it worked. It worked. Credit Pikiell. So, listen, I thought he made some good adjustments in this game. Defensively, putting Jay Will on Shrewsbury really made a difference. Rutgers was switching a lot of screens in this game, so that was interesting to see. And again, they got to close out 3 better. They have to rebound better. They have to give a more complete performance if you want to beat Alabama. But overall, Rutgers now 5-1, a much-needed P4 high major victory. Good to see it. Take a deep breath and, get some rest and get ready for later tonight. Rutgers will play Alabama in the Players Era Festival. And, you're playing with nothing to lose there. No one's expecting you to beat Alabama. They're on a bit of a roll now. Beat Illinois. They beat Houston. You're playing them on a neutral court. If you can keep it close even, that's going to help all your analytics and all that. So the team's just got to go out and play. You need bounce-back performances from Martini and Hayes. They're your 2 best free throw shooters. But Jay Will and Derkack hit some timely threes tonight, made some timely plays on defense, and really kept Rutgers in this game when they needed it. And then Dylan Harper just, bravo, unbelievable. He is ahead of schedule and just looks fantastic and really carried Rutgers tonight. This morning, best part about Rutgers Notre Dame playing this late once again is that the next day was not St. Patrick's Day, and Rutgers won the game. So sorry, Mike Bray. Sorry, Notre Dame fans. Rutgers with a huge win. Thanks so much for listening and watching once again here at the Scarlet Faithful podcast.